Hello everyone! Here's our second try. Our internet kind of messed us up a minute ago, so hopefully this is better. We're not using camo this time, so we're going to be switching the camera back and forth. Oh, hi. So, we're going to have to go old school with it here.
So fun.
I know.
All
It's
right, y'all.
difficult.
Let's see if this works. If it doesn't, then
We have no other option
nah,
tonight.
I'll just go to bed.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Doing my best to fix it, so hopefully this works. Thank you
Yeah,
guys for joining
camo.
us
I'm gonna
back.
write
We
them a
appreciate it.
harshly phrased
I don't
email
think
that
it's camo. I
says
think
it
it's
is
camo.
camo.
Camo doesn't have
Look, how
anything to do
come
with the
how come
internet.
the internet's how come it's good now?
I don't know.
Oh, now it's clear. Thanks, camo.
I know.
All
I'm
right,
sorry.
so here's some sketches that I did the other day for an idea for this necklace. All right, so, and that's something I got this gray velvet. You know, Joann's is going out of business. So I bought this gray velvet at Joann's, and I think it'd make a good cat. Don't you think it'll make a good cat?
Cute.
Now it's clear. See, you said, as I says, it's not camo, but
Well,
how
I
come
I
camos?
cannot be sure of anything. I'm just trying to make things work all the time. I'm not sure. I can't tell anybody anything with confidence. So maybe you guys are right.
All right. Yeah, and of course, there's no way to, because StreamYard's like 10% useless.
Yep.
I don't know about y'all, but I'm not a fan of StreamYard even a little bit.
Both of the things. I mean, I saw a comment earlier of somebody saying we need to figure out Kate's technology.
We have
Both of
Kate's
these
technology,
both of
y'all.
these programs, both StreamYard and Camo, are recommended to us by Kate.
Yeah, so
So I mean,
you don't
it's
how
not.
it's not it's different for everybody depending on the type of
Maybe you know what we should do in the future is we should move the Starlink somewhere up here. We actually started cleaning up the studio more. I cleaned off a table, and I'm going to start working on the other one. And maybe underneath this table, we could
it
put up
has to
our
have
Starlink
no,
or
it has to
something.
be it has to be outside and it has to be facing the sky. It
Oh,
has
I
to be
didn't know anything about
looking
it.
face first at the sky. So if you're wondering
Oh.
about a Starlink, the thing about that is you need to it's like a it looks like a big piece of foam, white foam.
Hmm.
So this has denatured alcohol in it. This was made by my friend Rashawn from Desert Flameworks, I think the name of it. I can never remember his well, you know, it's what's weird is we go live twice a week. So, what's the story? You know, why should that make any difference? You know, why isn't it working every time? I have too many tools showing. Really, I only need this one. And this is one I got in a estate sale. I think it's a nut picker. It's an old nut picker, but look at the tip on that. Isn't that cool?
Nut picker.
That's what it was. So anyway, I thought that'd make a good scraping tool. Maybe I'll go file it a little bit. All right, I made a little bit more space, but you know what? There's so much stuff, you guys, so much stuff. I know it is a little bit of chaos,
We're working on it.
but
I got one table down. We'll get there.
now I'm going to put that there so you can see what my plan is, see what the vision is. And it's annoying because I feel like I'm really far away. It's showing too far away, Zelia.
I know. Well, there's no
I'm going to
danger
send an
of
email
that.
to Camo and be like, why do you guys hate me?
I know, right?
Why is it whenever I'm working, y'all decide not to work properly?
Yep.
So I thought this was cute. This is a little salamander, and hopefully I don't set this thing on fire. That's what I'm going to try and make. So I positioned it. Maybe I can get it so I can show it. And then, of course, I thought, oh, I need another frog in my life. Okay, so here's my salamander. So I'm trying to find the place where I am in focus. Right, so these are steel tools that Greg made for me. I feel like there's a lag now. When I'm watching this, there's a slight lag.
Really?
But what do I do?
Hmm.
You just have to keep on trucking, right? You just figure something else out, like what I'm doing here. And I think what I'll do, and you know what? I just got this thing that was like your camo or StreamYard. They're like, it just came up. I've got to look at my subscription plan.
They
They're
might have raised our bill.
They did raise our bill.
So
And you know what? I get the enjoyment of what we're dealing with now. I'm going to be like, is this what you're...
let's send them an email and be like, hey, if you are gonna raise the prices and then work horribly, then goodbye.
Well, they don't really
Block.
have they don't have any competition. I would like to have the ability to
I'm sure
go
there's
in
other
tighter.
options.
You know, like I want to be able to zoom in, and Camo's the only place that does it.
I mean, we do have these negative experiences that we're having, but this did not happen to us like this past Wednesday
No.
and the Sunday before that. The last time we had a problem with internet was when we were in Tucson, but every other time between then and now, it had worked fine. So the only thing that I can conclude is that it might be the internet, but now that we're looking at it and you've changed it, I mean, there's still a lag. I have no idea. I know very little about it. I'm still learning how to fix these up. And you know what? Tonight I think I'm going to do some research into a different program to see if StreamYard's the only one, Camo's the only one. Maybe there's other options.
Mm. Well, I think this will be a pretty clasp, so you can visualize it. The tail will be the part right there in that middle portion to put the thread like this. Okay. So I wanted something that was kind of sculptural and not like an obvious button. All right. It seems like a pretty good size. I don't want it to be too large, because then if it's too large, the weight of the metal will pull this always down to the front. And I would love it if this could be anywhere on the piece. So it can be in the front or the back. So that's where I am right now. What do you guys think? It's pretty cute. It's very cute. It's making me want to go put the earrings that Anne made for me.
And is she back with us?
Yes, our friend Anne Gardan. Y'all look at these.
Hi, Anne.
These earrings that Anne made for me. Aren't these beautiful? I love them, Anne. Thank you. They suit me. I'm going to put them on right now. But Anne, if
Did you get your
you...
package yet? I would like to know.
Oh, yeah, and we're planning, y'all, to make a kit with some of Anne's components. They are beautiful.
I love her flower pieces. The color combinations are my
You know,
favorite.
we did come up with a color combination, and it was to suit this one. Not Mystic Mirage. Was it the Mystic Mirage? Maybe Mystic Mirage. Mystic Mirage is this. And I pulled colors that will suit this. It's like greens and pinks, but mostly green. So we have some of those in stock. Is that on the trunk show page or on the kids page?
Most things that I've been putting on the website lately, I've been putting on the trunk show page. But with the kits, it'll be on both. It'll be on the trunk show and the kids page.
Yes, I see some comments. Those are amazing, Anne. Gorgeous, Anne. Great earrings. And you know what? They're light. They're super light. I didn't even realize when I shook my head, I felt it just gently. Sometimes a big earring can be kind of annoying.
I like big earrings. I just have to struggle with, like, you know, they're big, so they're extra heavy.
Yeah, these,
But the
I got
earrings
these.
she made and gave me, the little starfish, are are big and pretty, but they're really light. I forgot I was wearing them. I almost went to sleep in them.
Oh yeah, like I bought these on the internet, and they don't look like they'd be heavy, but they're pretty heavy. They're really heavy, and so I can only stand them for about 30 minutes before they make my ears feel itchy. So anyway, that's something to look forward to. We are putting together, now I had an idea to make with the caps. So we're picking out cap type components. And a cap, what I'm talking about, in case you don't know, Anne makes beautiful brass enameled caps. And yeah, I thought I had some sitting right here, but there must be all downstairs. Anyway, we're going to there's a lot of potential, and I want to do a competition with that kit and show some of the ways. Like, what's interesting is all the different techniques there are to using different components. And that's one of the things I like is the multitude of ideas. Like this piece, for example, I'm hoping can be more than just, say, a button. But right now it's looking kind of like a button. But it doesn't have an obvious shank on it like other buttons that are in my collection. So we did a silver casting this week, and the silver casting came out pretty well. And I picked out stuff that, if it did not sell, I could use to finish up a few earrings, or not earrings, necklaces, I mean to say. So that, I will show that here in a few minutes. So Azalea, she did, since we only had a handful, I guess she wanted to do some of these in a lot sale format.
Well, I saw some people kind of miss the lot sales, and since most of the time lately I've been putting everything on the website, it's okay to do a lot sale every once in a while. I'll put these right here where you can reach them.
Oh, Wendy says, the only thing I can't handle with earrings is if the bead cap is making noise against the bead. I have a pair, literally can't wear them anymore. That is one. So if you don't like that sound, I was telling, oh, here, this is where this is funny because I have them right here, some of the sketches that I was doing. So I had one idea where it's like this. It's kind of like there's a bead up here, and then you can hang stuff from this like a dangle. Or it could be like a berry, so those are teardrop shapes. Or you could do like a crocheted type of situation. Or, this is pretty fun. This has, I'm going to move this one. I'll set the sketchbook on fire. This is like a tassel, so fiber. I thought would be pretty cool. Like if you've ever seen the mimosa plant, that could be a neat option. And then maybe a necklace with the caps on a necklace chain or beaded, could also be a lariat. So those are some sketches that I was working on for my own project that I was thinking about doing. Oh yeah, that is true. So when you're thinking about a component, move it back over. When you're thinking about how to use a component, sometimes it's cool to consider every possibility. And like a button doesn't have to be, for me, it's my favorite form of a clasp because it's easy to do, it's secure, and it looks nice. And sometimes a button can have, you can find some that have a long history. Like we found some at these estate sales that had, that they were like carved in mother of pearl. And, you hear some of these stories and it's pretty cool. Just the idea of things having another life before ever even entering your collection.
I like that.
Yeah, I like it too.
I like to use sewing supplies from estate sales, like thimbles, while I'm hand sewing.
Uh-huh.
I used a used estate sale thimble on my linen gown, and it felt kind of magical because it showed, somebody else used that for hand sewing. Somebody else probably made something very pretty with the same thimble.
Mm-hmm. One of the fun things about working with wax is that you can use heat. So I have my thing here. I'm going to move it out of the way because, this gets hot. It's very hot. And the ambient flame is like a good 2 feet. If I have my hand 2 feet above this flame, you can feel it. It's like a very hot flame. You can use files to use on the wax. And you can't use it with polymer. It would really gunk up your files if you used it on... If you use a file on polymer clay, it would not want it. So I want this to be... I was watching this video, and I don't know what I was watching it on, but it showed these salamanders making this trek and how cute they are when they're like in their little egg container, egg sack. I don't know what it's called. They looked pretty adorable. They had little frills, just like an axolotl. Mexican walking fish. Those are so cool because they can regrow a limb like an octopus. Oh, hello Clem, my friend. So this is this file is just any old file that you can get. I mean, it's not specific for wax or jewelry. It's a fine file. I think I found it at an estate sale. I bought a bunch of them. And sometimes people use them for woodwork. They're used for just general filing. This was probably a jewelry file, though. But I bought it in a collection, like it was a box full of these files. And usually you use like a brass brush to clean them. Like you use one of these and you run it across like this. But I don't like to do that because then all those little crumbs that are on the file get all over your work surface. So that's why I do not like that. I'll move that over a little bit. All right. Oh, hello, Vicky. Hello. Hello, Dale. Hello, my friends. So I'm making a clasp for my necklaces. So I'm making a little salamander clasp.
Oh, so charming.
And this could function as a button. But I'm going to detail it on both sides. And I'll put its little arms. So if it flips over, you can see one of the arms. I was trying to make something that had a look that would be like something from like an ancient treasure. Something on a really old antique. But then I thought of this and then I wanted it more. My flame is making a kind of a weird buzzing. You guys hear that? If you weren't hearing that other, it's like zzz, zzz.
Your fire?
Yep. Maybe because I lit it. I don't know why it's making that sound. It's cold up here. Who knows? Yep. It's making a kind of a slight buzz. But I feel like I'm super far away. Julie says, miss the intro. Well, the intro was me sitting there talking about how come the internet or camo or whatever it was, that one of the things that we're using to stream is acting up tonight, unfortunately. I thought it was the internet, but My healing vibes is coming in.
Loud and clear.
Yeah, usually that's usually, the tell. I don't know. I'm gonna have to do some research. Somebody told me that StreamYard is feuding with Facebook because Facebook tried to buy them, and so I don't know if there's like if Facebook's trying to do this thing where they're make it where the StreamYard people don't want to use StreamYard because it doesn't make me want to use it when I can't really use it. I don't know that toothbrush. Toothbrush over here. Multi-purpose. So to clean these wax things, I don't know if you can see it. I use a little toothbrush to get the burrs, and those are, you can see when you use a file you get little raised burrs, and a file is good because it's easy to control, and it's kind of like you can see I'm using it kind of like a pencil and digging out the design. Waxwork, or I should say this type of waxwork, because some of you that might be watching are professionally trained jewelers. And I've received a few messages. If you are a professionally trained jeweler and you're watching my video and you are tempted right now to send me a message about how I'm doing it incorrectly and I need to get a wax pen with a battery pack wax pen, then save yourself the trouble, because I already know that tip and I don't like to use it. So everybody's different. You just have to remember, not everybody paints the same way and not everybody uses pencils the same way. I took a watercolor class when I was in art school, and there were so many blamed rules about how you had to preserve the whites. And I was just like, listen, if I want to preserve the whites, I can just go in there and freaking go get some liquid paper and preserve my own whites. And they said, oh, if you go in with gouache, you're cheating. I said, who came up with all these arbitrary rules? Who made these rules, and why do we have to follow them? Well, listen to your Aunt Cynthia and just say, hey, I don't have to follow those rules. Because you know what?
What is Sam here?
No, he's my son,
Oh,
Azalea. He's my other son.
you got a lot of sons.
Yeah, I know, I do. I just hate it when I hear people talk about, well, there are rules to art.
Well, nobody's commented that in a while, have they?
No, they don't comment it. They send it to me directly.
Oh. I think most people that watch us really enjoy watching your personal techniques. I think that's why they watch, because they could watch a YouTube tutorial on how to do anything. But I think
yeah. Well, I sometimes like to make a disclaimer just in case there's someone watching that says, "Oh, well, that's not how I learned in 1982 from this super famous wax worker." And I will admit that the way I work is a little on the unusual side, because most times when you're working with wax, at least when I learned traditionally in a sculpture lab, so that we worked with a chemical called microcrystalline wax. And that had a function of being both stinky and sticky at the same time. I have a piece sitting around somewhere that I didn't manage to toss into the garbage. But, everybody's different. And see, I don't like microcrystalline wax, but there are those out there that's all they can use, because you're using something in a large scale. I dislike it. I disliked it so much that I came up with my own wax blend. Like when I was in sculpture in school, I melted down beeswax and glycerin. What else did I put in it? I don't really remember. I have it written down somewhere. But you can hand form that wax, and that was microcrystalline wax. It's brown. It smells like gas. It's a horrible, sticky, disgusting wax. It stinks when you burn it out. Basically, I can't even think of a plus to it. It doesn't even look that good in wax. It's like a murky, dark brownish gray. And so I'm sure there'll be someone sending me a message about how, hey, listen, you need to respect the old ways. And I respect it ish. What am I saying? I don't really like it. So when you don't like it, you come up with your own method. So that's what I've done. Although I don't usually carve large pieces. So maybe because it's cheap, that could be the thing. Because it is cheaper than, say, beeswax. Beeswax is going to cost an arm and a leg, especially if you were making something huge. So if there's someone that's making public works, like you're going to do a huge statue of a guy riding a horse, well, then you probably don't have a choice. The city's probably not going to front for 60 pounds of beeswax. But if you're making something small, you can use it. Wendy says there's always more than one way of doing things. Yeah, that's true. Melanie says, I thought the part of being artistic was that there are no rules in how you make it. I mean, if you put rules on art, then it's not personalized. Well, that's funny because I have done a lot of workshops and classes. I've taught them, and I've been a student. And a lot of times people love their rules. There are color rules, there are shape rules, there are rules about bad tangencies, especially in graphic design. I mean, let's talk about how, like, there are fonts that people love and hate. You guys probably saw that Saturday Night Live with what was it, Ryan Reynolds? Which one is it that there's two Reynolds I get mixed up, where he hated the Avatar logo and he's like, all they did was use papyrus. And I was like, that is true. Papyrus does get used a lot, and that does feel kind of lazy, and I could see that. And I laughed when I saw it. I did laugh because I was like, yeah, somebody got paid big dollars to do that. So right here, his little arms could be right there. I'm going to put his little arms because I think that'd be pretty cute. Oh, Dale says, rules were meant to be broken in art. It's creative. Yeah. June says, I was taught to learn the traditional way. Then a teacher said, once you've learned, then you can break the rules and be great. Yeah, I like that. That's true. That is true. When I started, we copied old master paintings, but you didn't even get to copy old masters until you learned basic painting. But that was from a very traditional teacher, and I was also, my thing was in now I'm like, what did I study? I studied Renaissance painting techniques. I know when you think of that, you're like, what do you do with that? Well, what you would do, and at the time I thought I would have enough knowledge to be a restorer of art. I probably could, because I can make my own paint. Maybe do restoration. That would be fun. I could restore paintings. The trouble is a lot of that work is not here in the US. I would need to go to Italy or England or somewhere where they have old paintings. They don't have that many here. And if they do have them here, people put them in a yard sale and then you paint over it with, There isn't much of a market for it here, is I guess what I'm saying. Or I could teach it if I wanted to teach it. Cynthia says, can you hold up the seed bead bracelet by the ruler? I love the colors. It's beautiful. Oh, sure. This seed bead, I will tell you right now that this is done with seed beads that are not standard size. These are antique seed beads. So that's why you get a wavy gravy sort of. Look at how it's, I mean, it's the same amount of beads. It's just some are thicker than others. So you get that different look. And that's what I was working on with this clasp. That's why I have that there, because I started this one and I wanted something to work with it. It's a tiny bit wide though. I don't know. A little bit wide. Wendy says, I'm sure those old greats may not even have had someone to teach them the standard way. They had to come up with it with what they had. Oh no. In those days, it was very rigorous. And I mean, we learned about this through journals at the time. Like you couldn't even work on, you couldn't work on a Michelangelo, like one of his, if you were like one of the, I guess you got understudy, I don't know, apprentice. Because they didn't do all the mixing themselves. They didn't just do that. And they didn't do like the rough sketches. They had other people. And then they would go in there and do the fun part.
Must be nice.
And if you were not, you had to have a certain standard. You had to be able to imitate the work exactly. And if you couldn't, then you were basically not employed with those houses, I guess. Maybe the Medicis would employ them. But it was a big deal to have a patron. Usually a church. Someone with deep pockets. Hey, that's looking pretty cute. Cynthia says, "Where can I get the seed beads? Do you sell them?" I bought some and I have yet to put them on the website. We didn't buy a ton. I bought a few strands.
The African ones?
Huh?
The African ones?
Oh yeah, these are okay, so these are from African Village. Some of them in there are, not all of them. Some of them are Mayukis of the standard size. You can see where the standard size ones are. They're perfect and they look like little tiles. And then some of them are all different. So, and you know what? They were frosty. Now they're shiny from being worn. His head's a little bit thick. I think it's looking cute. Let's do a test to look. All right, that's looking pretty charming. We'll see. I don't know. I'm going to fix up these, but you know what? When I was looking at them, they did not spark joy in my heart. They just sparked like meh. So I'm going to give it a minute with those pieces, and I will return to them. Yeah, you know what? There's a lot of rules in art school, but you know what? It's good because otherwise you go to an art school where you just know how to talk about it, but you don't know how to actually paint. I went to a school that was incredibly rigorous, incredibly, like the workload was insane. I went to the Columbus College of Art and Design in Columbus, Ohio. And I looked at when I was checking out schools, I looked for ones that I admired the art of the students, that they were making things that I wanted to do too. And I liked the work. It just seemed like really professional level, really good work. So that was my criteria at the time. At that point, if you guys can believe it, I thought I was going to work for Disney. And you know what? I also thought, this is the wacky part, is that I thought I was going to also, get in there and work and be on a film set. And work on, because my other part of my degree was 3D illustration, which is prop building, monster makeup. I know it's kind of disparate, but what do? You like what you like.
That sounds exactly like something you'd be doing.
Mm-hmm. So.
Making things nasty looking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's nobody better at making a moldering corpse than I am with foam and latex.
I'm happy for you.
Mm-hmm. I'm a natural with it. It's something gross. It's like a gift.
What a nice skill to have.
I know. Or I could recreate my favorite. Like used to make extra money in college. I sold my reproductions of Botticelli paintings, like just a snippet, like this much of it, of like the eye. And I was practicing, but if my neighbor saw it and he was like, "I'll trade you that painting for some frames," and I was like, "Done." So I had like a little side hustle of making egg tempera, I guess reproductions. They're reproductions of Botticelli's works in trade for frames. So that was one way I made money. It's looking pretty cute. Kimberly says, I'm excited to see this critter clasp completed. Super cute. It is. Carolyn says, that industry is, to get in. Oh, Disney? Oh, no. No. Disney would have been... Disney you can get in. You just have to get in on the ground floor and work your way up. I'm from Orlando. I know several people that work at Disney. It would have been a good job. But I don't know. I don't have a good time doing things like at that time. It was a lot of you start with making like illustration and like you do the same type of illustration. The way they described it to me, the thing that's hard to get into would be if I wanted to be an actor. That would be hard. But getting a job doing what I do or what I used to do would not have been hard. I was actually offered a job do you guys know who Tom Savini is? Anybody ever see that movie From Dusk Till Dawn? That dude that's he's standing around with that gun at crotch level. That's Tom Savini. And he has a business in like props and special effects. I met him at a resin convention. I used to make resin kits. That sounds it's like a comic book convention, but I don't even think they have these kits anymore. I don't even know if people do it anymore. It's such a specialized niche. But anyway, he has two of my sculptures. I traded and sold a couple of them to him. And he offered me a job. I think it was in Philadelphia. But I was like, how much does it pay? And he was like, well, interns. And I was like, whoa, wait a second. I was like, do you think I'm intern level? Because I had what you'd call kind of a high opinion of my skills back then. And he's like, no, you have wonderful skills. It's just, we can't pay right away until we have a job. And I was like, I'm not moving to Pennsylvania to be an intern. So that's how that went. I didn't take the job. But it would have been fun because then right after I turned that job down, they worked on some pretty big movies. And I was kind of disgusted. Like, man, I could have worked on that. But I didn't. So, and it was funny because, Greg also was interviewed. And by when I say interviewed, it was like a very, not like I didn't go there to be interviewed. He just looked at my work. And he bought I had a thing called a snail woman. I need to get a sip of water. And a frog lady. So I've had a love of frogs and natural creatures for many, many years. All right, this is looking cute, but I did not put on his arms. That's going to go on the other side. Oh, Azalea, will you check the door because I hear something?
Did you hear Son?
I think I did.
He might be trying to get in.
Wendy says, now all these movies are CGI. Excuse me.
He is not there. He probably did the ding dong ditch.
Let's go get the other pieces so I can show them. And you can help me talk about them.
Oh, these?
Ah. Oh, let's move on to that. Wendy says, now these are all CGI. Well, they are. And that's one of the reasons why I was like, well, I don't want to get into computer graphics. Maybe I should have. Oh.
Here's the first one.
Oh, Azalea wants to show some of these. Can you talk about this a little bit?
Is that new?
This one is.
It looks to me like a link.
Oh, yes.
I thought that would be interesting at the center of a necklace, because you've got... At first I thought it was part of a toggle bar, but then your thing is still on. Because it had this center bar, but then, or the center hole, but then I saw that there were two holes on either side, so I figured it must be a link. So if you were to attach two ends of a necklace on either side, you could do some interesting dingle-dangle in action from here. Well, I gotta walk around the other side here. So this is new. I don't know if we've ever shown this before, but this just came out today. I found it on the kitchen table, and I was told to price and get it ready for the live. This is silver. It's lot 504. If anybody has forgotten how to do the lot sale because it's been so long, basically all you have to do is comment the lot number, 504. And if you have a customer account with me, I send you an invoice. If you don't, you can send me an email. Now, if you send an email to the address at the top of the screen, that's Mom's, and she can forward it to you. But directly into my inbox is the contact button on our website. So if you go to our website, there's a button in the corner that says message us, and it'll go right into my inbox. So then you can tell me, hey, I've never shopped with you before. This is my name and my email address. All I need is your name and email address to make you an account. So this is sterling silver, branch link, very, very new, lot 504.
Thank you, daughter, for taking over for a minute. My throat was getting itchy. I don't usually talk a lot between times I'm on. You have a cough drop over there?
I don't.
Or a hard candy?
I could go and try to find you one. Let me see if I can find one.
You know I like those butterscotch candies.
Oh, okay.
Wendy says, my husband's friend designed baby dragons on Game of Thrones, and I've never been so impressed. I'm impressed. I love those dragons. So this is another thing that I've used on my necklaces before. So it's a little horse button. It's a good size. Let's see. How much is this? So it's pretty thick. And I have 4 of them. Lot 506. So Azalea wants to do this lot because there's not that many of them. There's only 4. So we're going to do a lot today and see what happens. There's only a few things in the what you call it, that are here right now. We might put these in the trunk show later, but what I might do also is finish up these necklaces. So this is a good one. It's a little bit larger than my mermaid button, and it's a little heavier. Let me see. I've got this one on. And I use it the same way. So they're smaller. This is a little bit chunkier. Has a more Sundance vibe, more Southwestern. It makes me think of Tucson. It's pretty, let me see, I have 4 of them. So this is 506. It is solid. It has kind of, no. I think it looks like an antique piece. You know, like the, I have some Roman coins that have very beautiful drawings or carvings of horses, and that's what makes it makes me think of that. Oh, thank you, daughter.
Sorry, it took me a minute to find them in the secret location.
All right. So that's 506. This one that she was talking about, I had a few people ask me about. Where'd that link go?
It's back in there.
Yeah, I made this to go with... Let me see. What happened to my cap? All right. So this is designed so that it could be like this or like this. So you could put it... And you have to picture my great big pendant. That's what I made this for. So I thought that there were a few people that were asking after it. They're all a little bit different if you look. So they kind of needed some noodling right out of the mold. So
Noodling.
noodling.
You had to fix them up?
A little bit of fix up.
Most of our things do.
Yeah, pretty much everything does. So
Like,
that's why
actually,
silver.
I had to press waxes and build trees the other day for a bronze casting for an order. I've been helping my dad in the garage a lot. And whenever I press out waxes, they all need cleanup. Like, they all need the holes cleaned out and some of the mold flash cleaned up before you put it on the tree.
Or it could be like this. So anyway, we're testing this out, see how people like it. This is going to go in my necklace collection. So I thought I'd share them before I put them out. This is the other part of that. I made a link. I don't know if anybody likes this. It's $16. I have one. It's $5.09. This would be good for... It's like I have these necklaces sitting here for the express purpose of me showing, and then it's like a game of memory. I just set it down, and where did I put it? Oh, right here. Like this. This is what I use them for. So really, yeah, you would need like a bead this size to be like the counterpart if you were to use it the same way that I have it here. And I have a tiny link here, but it's like a visual, like a, you know, I don't know what to call it. The visual weight. So if there's a lot of interest in this, I'll make a few more. Okay, so this is a clasp. Kimberly says, yes, love the links. We have a moon clasp. This is a classic one that I use pretty frequently. I'm looking around behind me for if there's a necklace that has this. I think I may have sold them all. Oh no, I have one here. This is the Shibuichi with a silver moon. Looks pretty good. That's 503. And I have some of these stars that I use in my work too. This is 505. And it's a classic for me. I use this as like a standby because I can use it in a fine necklace or in one that is a little bit thicker. because I think visually it works. All right, and I have only, let me see, I have 2 of these. This is 508. And it is the button that my sister Sheila made way back when. She made this for me a long time ago. I can't read how, if there was a date on it. I can't read it. But I have 2. And if you wanted this pendant of a moon face, I have 3. This one's a little heavier. Look how thick it is in silver. Nice back on it. It's a very, it feels like a nice amulet. Feels good. Feels precious. It's 507. Let me see. Do I have anything else in there? I think that's it. So that's in our casting. We have a bunch of these and some of the clasps. We're heavy on the clasps because I have some necklaces to finish, but I want to make this for it. So that's coming soon. And I'm going to finish that. Look how far along I got just in today. I'm going to put his arms on the back and it's going to look fantastic. All right, what is 508? I just had it out. Let me see. All right, if I have a lot of 508, that's this. I'll make some more because it looks like folks like it. But keep in mind, it's pretty small. It's very thin. It's one that I use on my crochet necklaces. It's like light as air. So, and I had some folks emailing about this clasp. So what I'll do is I'll fix this one up. And it needs to be remolded. We can talk about, or I can show some of the mold making. Maybe like if y'all are interested in how the molds look, we can show it. But it's noisy, so I have to think of a way to do that. Carolyn says that would be a cool clasp with a salamander. I think it would be. I think it'd be really adorable. Let's see how it looks with it so far. So you loop through the tail. And I'm going to have his little feet on the underside. So when if it flips over, you would get his little feet. And it looks so cute. So that's what that's looking like right now. And it would need a loop. Something like this. To fit through. This one I didn't design it for this or the thickness of it. You just have to picture. I think it's adorable. And I'm going to also put the little frills to show that it's still a baby. It doesn't have its back legs yet.
That's cute.
I don't know what they're called. You know, tadpoles or tadpoles, and they don't have their legs yet. When they have their back legs, it's called a froglet. I don't know why a salamander doesn't have a name for its various stages. Maybe egg stage and baby salamander. Melanie says, I would like one. Bonnie says, have you ever done an orca? No, I haven't. I don't know why, but I haven't done a shark either. I one time carved a dolphin in reverse, but, you know. All right, so that's what we have in our collection. It looks so messy on my desk. Newt, says Pat. I think newt is a type of salamander. I don't think it's a stage. Or maybe it is a stage. That is a hook and eye. It's okay. I only have this one, though. So, I have to mold it and then, you know, recalibrate it because the faces are kind of worn. If you look really close, you can't even see the faces on it. They're like, it's just like eye holes. Bonnie says, I love whales and otters.
Cute.
And Lori says, will you be making more of the octopus hairs you had a while ago? I completely forgot that those even existed. So yes, that's a good idea. I should make some more of those. Y'all should see the drawers of waxes that I have. That they're probably things that haven't seen the light of day in 30 years. All right, I'm going to put these things away. All right, my friends. I was about to use the phone, but I forgot that I'm having to go old school. Ugh. I'm just looking for camera. All right, my friends. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us through all of our exciting internet problems and my coughing and all that, and watching the tutorial for this little salamander. It'll be great. All right, my friends, I will see you on Wednesday, and hopefully I will have something fun and amusing to share. Hopefully these will be done. I don't know if they'll be done. Carolyn says, any plans for a paint on metal demo? Oh, Carolyn, I've done so many. I thought y'all were bored with all my paint on metal. Because I did remember when I was doing, I did several. We need to figure out a way to really, I don't know, show it again. Or do something with the YouTube to make it searchable so that you could see it.
Yeah, I was planning on doing that in the next couple days.
All right, my friends, that's a good point. We'll do that. But I haven't shown painting on metal in a bit. That's usually a standby I've done in the past. Maybe we'll return to that. Maybe next week. We'll see. I'll see what I really want to work with this, so we'll see what happens. Dale says, what do you paint on metal? Well, I have a bunch of things. A bunch of things that I use. And I will show that. Pat says you can go back in YouTube. I need to make a playlist because otherwise it's really hard to search. So actually there's no way to search at this point in time.
Yeah, I have to edit them all into evergreen videos.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to take some time, but I can start. It's got to start somewhere, you know.
All right, my friends. Carolyn says it is hard to find your video demos on what is what. I know. We're not, how do you say it? Expert at technology. I mean, you'd think I'd be an expert at this point, but you know, I'm better at other things. I'm definitely better at carving than I am at doing YouTube. I can search YouTube.
I mean, some people are content creators full time, but we're content creators and also production and also marketing and also order filling. We do all of it. We don't have any outside outside places that work for us.
All right, my friends. Well, thank you for joining us. We had a good time. We will see you on Wednesday. We love you out there and hope you all have a creative week. All right, bye, my friends.